Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I'm Dr. Sudhanshu Joshi from Doon University, Dehradun. Today we are going to discuss on module International Quality Documentation Standards from paper Operation Management. After completing this module, you will be able to understand what standards are and how they are made. To understand and evaluate the process and overall framework related. To evaluate the scope and usefulness of various formats coming under quality standard documents. What standards are, how they are made, how global firms and competitions and processes are being documented, how we can define process quality documents, what it incorporates of, and the purpose of documenting a process. We will also learn importance of quality document standards in operation management. Now, let us understand what is quality management. Quality management system is a collection of policies, procedures, plans, resources, practices, and a specification of responsibility and authority of an organization designed to achieve products and services quality at different levels, which leads to customer satisfaction and companies' objectives are fulfilled. Quality policy describes the organization's approach to quality. Quality manuals addresses each principles of the ISO 9000 standards. Principles of ISO 9000 standards: customer focus, understanding needs, meet requirements, exceed expectation, leadership, unity of purpose, organizational direction, empowerment, and to achieve objectives. Involvement of people, fully involved employees to benefit the organization. Process approach, accomplishing by processes, resources must be managed. System approach to management. This includes processes are managed as system. Principle on continual improvement, permanently applied to the organization, its people, their processes, their systems, and their products. Principle on factual approach to decision making, targets upon decisions based on analysis of accurate, relevant, and reliable data. Whereas principle on mutually beneficial supplier relationship exhibits organization and suppliers benefit with each other's resource and knowledge. In the documentation, the term organization charts illustrates management's responsibility for operating the quality systems. Quality procedures may be referred in this manual. What are the objectives of quality? Goals related to quality must be in synchronization with the quality policy of the organization. It is assigned to the organization function and it tracked by the top management. What is quality procedures? So quality procedures are step by step what the company does to meet a policy. It is also defined as a procedure for each ISO principle. Processes for procedures that affects quality can be considered as quality procedures. Documentation also includes forms and records, etc., which are proof of activities. Documentation for auditors. They ensure the consistency of the firm's operations and also verify the conformance to standards. ISO 9000 International Standard. The term ISO 9000 standard can be explained as a family of standards and guidelines that set the requirements for assurance of quality and management's improvement in an organization to ensure products and services are consistent with their intended purpose. They are meant to achieve customers' satisfaction, for continual improvement of performances and competitiveness, for continual improvement of processes, products, and services, and to ensure they comply with regulatory requirement of the firm. How ISO 9000 is applied? It is not required by the government. It's up to the management to follow it or not. But it may require suppliers to be compiled to the standards. It includes apply QMS to the operations, continuously assessment of the effectiveness, make changes for improvement, conduct regular audits, submit to third-party audits, and submit to a new registration every 3 years. Now let us discuss about the authority of registration for ISO 9000 standards. It is awarded by the registrar or certification bodies. It is accredited by accreditation bodies, International Accreditation Forum, which is also known as IAF, and IAF take authorities from Article 6 of WTO's 1994 Agreement on Technical Barriers to Trade. If we go with the registration statistics, then by year 2008, overall 1 billion certificates were held in 179 countries. And if you go with the breakup, countrywide breakup, then we'll have China as 1,80,107 registration. Italy had 1,17,437 registration. Japan had 89,375 registration. United States has 49,820 registration. So China becoming an industrial superpower and building quality recognition. So it's going side by side, development as well as certification of development in the form of empaneling one's firm through ISO 9000. Service sectors is now evaluating for sustainability, effectiveness, performance and quality through ISO 9000 standard. If we go with the requirements and prerequisites for organization registration, it will definitely increase the credibility in the world marketplace, and it confirms the organization steps towards excellence in terms of developing a quality manual that gives assurance of quality products and services, document procedures of how everything will be operated, secure top management's commitment to QMS and continual improvement, customer requirement determined and meeting them. If registering, they must hire an accredited registrar, conduct its own internal audits, external audit from the accredited registrar. What are the organizational benefits if you go for ISO 9000? So the organizational benefits are providing the confidence to the customers and the organization that it can provide products and services consistently. The cost risk management goes down. It improves the competitiveness. Benefit to the customers could be meeting their requirements, providing them competitive prices, increasing the confidence among the customer in terms of the product and service delivered to them, and filling up the expectation of the quality to the customers in terms of products and the services. What is the origin of ISO 9000? ISO, the worldwide federation, developed to harmonize nation and international standards. It was being developed by American National Standards Institution, which is also known as ANSI, and American Society for Quality, ASQ, in 1987 after 35 years of initial trial. The comparative scope of ISO 9000 and total quality management. ISO 9000 and TQM are not interchangeable. ISO 9000 is compatible with and is viewed as a subset of TQM. ISO 9000 can be implemented in an non-TQM environment. ISO 9000 can improve operations of traditional environment. ISO 9000 may be redundant to a mature TQM system, and ISO 9000 and TQM are not in competition with each other. The ISO 9000 efforts will benefit from the total quality preparation phase by having the following components: executive level steering committee, a vision of guiding principles, a set of broad objectives, baselines on employees and customer satisfaction, an objective view of the organization's strengths and weaknesses, are good accounts of all the employees at all the levels of the organization, well throughout means of communicating with employees and stakeholders. What standards are and how they made. We have to understand the meaning of standardization and different kind of standards. Standardization, as it is presumed and no longer suggested, if it is even did to librarians and their kind, and unwarranted attempts to control the fruits of intellectual toil, and even by implication and the content also, as stated by Kant in 1954. So neatly put in, the value of a standard, that is to say a document in which the aggregate requirement of a product or a process for a given purpose are formulated, and the benefit of the standardization can confer and taken as recognized by all but the most incorrigible and sentimental of the individualist. A standard may prescribe or recommend it one or more of the following features: dimension or other magnitudes including the size, shape, weight, etc., to reduce unnecessary and wasteful variety and secure interchangeably. Also, it has the feature of performance and quality to ensure that final product fit for the job or which it is designed for. Third could be a method of test to facilitate and improve the comparison of material or products. Fourth could be terms and symbols to provide a common and intangible technical language. Fifth could be procedures or practices in the form of a guide or a code setting out the most effective, efficient way of preparing, using, and maintaining a product or a service. Let us understand the evolvement of standardization. Standard units of measure, including dimension, time, and currency, etc., and standard formulas have been with us since Greece and Roman times, and no doubts earlier. Still, in the ancient civilization of Asia, medieval craftsmen developed their standards of workmanship, and with the help of their guilds, military and machinery interests were focused to standardize their ordnance and equipments. However, rudimentarily and often with poor results. It was not, however, until the Industrial Revolution was well advanced that the need of national standards, as we now know them, began to be recognized in the industry, largely by the pioneer at the turn of the century like Whitworth, Skeleton, and Berry in this country. International Federation of National Standards Association (ISA) became the forerunner of what is now known as International Organization for Standard, which matched our modern age of industrialization. Also, International Electrotechnical Commission, in order to meet the ongoing business requirement, has promoted increasing efficiency and interchangeable standard within the organizations. Global firms, competitions, and process documentation. With the increased global competition and shrinking profit margins, and also to survive in the turbulent environment, companies need to manage their process effectively. The importance of process-oriented approaches to the success of any business is getting started documented. A good management of process is very much dependent on how well it is understood and documented. In turn, understanding a process requires documentation. As earlier stated, the process documentation can be classified into two types. First is process flowchart diagrams, and second is process maps. Once the development in the manufacturing environment, process documents are used in all types of organization today, it became an industrial benchmark standard. Some of these were blamed of being too technical, and some others are blamed of being too simple to adequately represent the process under study. However, process analyzers never forgo them and improve over time. Today, process documents are the most commonly used tools for analyzing and improving business processes. They are also useful for process standardization. However, their use for standardization purposes has not been adequately addressed. Defining process quality documents. The process document can be classified into two. process flowcharts and diagrams, and process maps. These two basically serve the same purpose. However, process maps are used more often than process flowcharts in the recent years. One of the reasons for this trend is that many techniques used by industrial software engineers for process flowcharting requires the use of complex notations, conventions that are often difficult for non-engineers to use effectively. The fact that flowcharting and data flow diagramming do not modern interaction between activities is also another reason this was a serious shortcoming, because interaction are one of the most significant areas of efforts improvement. The purpose of documenting a process. The purpose of documenting a process. Organization may document their processes for purpose of improvement, standardization, re-engineering, and description. Some readers might also view standardization and re-engineering as an improvement, considering empirical evidence support the notion that understanding of how a process operates is necessary before attempting any process-related initiative. In turn, the process understanding is often required to accomplish codification. In fact, the recent practitioners, including Silver and Rocklander in 1997, observed that appropriate flow diagrams are excellent devices to understand a process. Now the question is, how do we know whether we understand a process or not? The answer is putting the things in a document. Importance of quality document standards in operations management. One of the key strategic decisions in operation management and in providing a competitive product is applying the correct quality method or techniques to ensure that parts continue to meet the specific quality and design requirements through the product life cycle in a lean management or other management systems. A great function, great product design can be put in documents so that it can be reused in the near future. That's how quality document standards is required in operation management. All four cycles of critical aspect of product quality is determine the part quality sensitivity to minor changes and how these changes affect product quality and its reliability. Competitive advantage goes deeper than just the quality of parts or products. As also stated by Summer and Jones in 2002 in one of the articles they have published, they pointed to several areas to be addressed when developing competitive advantage, but for this comparison analysis, present module will also focus on process of maintaining part quality and reliability as component travel through a design change process. Quality document standards consist of at least the following three levels or the parts also, which are referred as document hierarchy. First, quality manuals or Q manuals, annexes or appendix consisting of 10 to 30 pages. The purpose of Q manuals is to outline the generic policies and procedures for staff, customers, accrediting bodies or legal bodies to provide an overview of quality systems. Second component is, or second level could be, documented quality system procedures, which are also known as standard operating procedures, SOPs. The standard operating procedures describe standard procedures in a concise manner to provide sufficient information to carry out work concerned. The volume depends on the size of the shop floor, number of tests, number and qualification of the staff, and number of equipment to use. Third component or level could be other quality documents such as working instructions, forms, reports, working instructions. They gives the details on the standard procedures concerned. This may be, for example, related information of a specific test method, forms, checklist, reports related to standard procedures, working instruction or specimen forms,
so that it may direct an individual on shop floor to work accordingly. Figure first exhibits or depict the document hierarchy where Q manual comes at level first, which describes the quality systems in accordance with the stated quality policy, objectives and accredited standards. At level B, documentation quality systems, procedures or also known as SOPs are there, which describes the activities of individual function units. At level C, we have other quality documents including work instructions, forms and reports etc., which are responsible for consisting the detailed works documents. How good manufacturing practices evolved? If we go with the history of that, manufacturing practices are established in 1970s in order to attainment the responsibility of senior management to participate and committed of staff in all departments, all level, including suppliers' requirement. The synopsis of quality management those days were to achieve the quality objectives reliably through comprehensive designs and corrected implementation systems, which is called quality assurance, which incorporate good manufacturing practices and quality circles. And the application for manufacturing practices are manufacturing of goods and recent service developers, and to develop a prototype that could be used for future to come.
Total quality management. In the 80s to 1990s, a new phase of quality control and management begins. This has become known as total quality management. Having observed Japan's success of employing quality issues, Western companies started to introduce their own quality incentives. TQM developed a catch-all phase for the broad spectrum of quality-focused strategies, programmers, and techniques during the period become the center of focus for Western quality movement. A typical definition of TQM includes phases such as customer focus, involvement of all employees, continuous improvement, and integration of quality management into the total organization. Although the definitions were all similar, there was a confusion. It was not clear that sort of practices and policies and activities needed to be implemented to fit the TQM definition. We need to understand the set of concepts and terminologies while we read TQM, including know-how. A description of knowing how to do something is know-how. Knowing how to do something is much like a recipe instruction. On the other hand, knowledge as information implies that something means information is contained in original list of ingredients, but know-how is only imperfected, representing a description. For instance, making pizza is an example where ingredients for making pizza represent information while recipe instruction represents know-how. Second term which we need to understand is tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Tacit knowledge is subconsciously understood and applied, difficult to articulate, developed from direct experience and action, and usually shared through highly interactive conversations, through storytelling and shared experience. In contrast, explicit knowledge is more precisely formally articulated, although removed from the original context of creation or use. For example, an abstracted mathematical formula.
Organization effectiveness and efficiency. The construct of organization efficiency and effectiveness is complicated and does not include a standard perspective or theory for organization to measure its performance, as also highlighted by Sell and Kiff, that organization effectiveness is an external measurement based upon organization ability to produce the expected results based upon environmental demand. In contrast, efficiency is an internal measurement to ensure employees complete tasks using minimal resources such as time or funding without jeopardizing quality.
Quality improvement. The foundation for quality improvement, which evolves from classical, contemporary, and post modernized leadership approach. An earlier classical approach to improve organization efficiency was through mass production that attempts to reduce variability in a process through standardization procedures and economic scale. Jack and Jones in 1996 and Jones in 2003 has supported the argument that a mass production perspective leaders relied upon vertical organization structure, a stable environment, and mechanized approach. A weakness of the classical approach is that organization cannot adapt early to the environment change, management makes all decisions, and social interaction is lacking.
Management systems. A management systems includes organizational processes that are mutually dependent but which must collectively share resources for the success of the organization. Management systems are strategic and help organization with innovation, creation, and competitiveness.
So students, let's now summarize that we have learned in this module. ISO 9000 and TQM are not interchangeable. ISO 9000 is compatible and can be subset of TQM. They have vast different origin. ISO 9000 was developed to harmonize national and international standards, and the aim of ISO 9000 is to establish organizations to better serve their customers and be more competitive in the marketplace by adhering to quality management principles. Primarily, both of the standards are for the following reasons: to improve operations, to improve or create a quality management system, to improve the consistency of quality, to improve customer satisfaction, to improve competitive posture of the firm, to confront to customers' requirement. Thank you.